Call the meeting back to order.
Exactly. Okay. I was thinking the same thing.
And welcome. I have a motion moved by Doug Hutchison and seconded by John A. Bell. Be it resolved that the Council of the Municipality of West Grey hereby returns to open session of Council at 10:20 a.m. Any questions or comments on the motion? All those in favor? Any opposed? That is carried. Okay. Mark, have the minutes show that only those matters that we went into closed session are the only matters discussed. Public meetings, I don't think we have any public meetings this morning. Consent agenda. I have a motion moved by Carol Lawrence and seconded by Don B. Marshall. Be it resolved that items A1 to C2 inclusive contained in Part 1 consent agenda be adopted, and further that authorization be given for the actions to be taken as may be necessary to give effect to the recommendations contained therein. Is there any questions or comments on the consent agenda? The only question I would have, and I spoke to Councillor Lawrence on the library minutes, there will be kind of an amendment to those around the closed session, that's all. Okay? Nothing else? Ask the question. All those in favor? The motion? Any opposed? That's carried. Mark, I'll ask you then to hand out the resolutions to take effect. There they are. Then that'll move us down to, I believe, communications from myself and council. Is there any council members have any communications at this time that they'd like to share with anyone out there? Christmas was a slow time for you, Mr. Thompson?
Yeah.
Shut down for 2 weeks.
I would like to mention that on New Year's Day, just like to put out there to the Normanby Ayton Fire station and the firemen, the volunteer firefighters there for a wonderful breakfast. They put on I think it's about the third year or fourth year that they've done that on New Year's Day. Got up after celebrating. I know they're on call 24 hours a day, so they're very apt at being up early on the morning on January 1st. And I think this year they probably had their largest turnout. It's becoming a very well-attended function. From there, I had the opportunity to go to the Durham Legion, who hosts a levee, and I'm not even going to guess at how many years that has been going on, but was able to attend that as well too, and bring in the new year. Mr. Bell is telling me it's 40 plus, so obviously it was before he was even born that it started. Any other communications? Other than I have been attending a number of activities and functions as being warden as well. One thing I'd just like to say, the Western Ontario Wardens, which I was the chair of back in 2010, met again on Friday, this past Friday in London. The new chair is the Mayor of Chatham-Kent, Randy Hope. Look forward to working with Randy on that, and also that Chatham-Kent is back into being part of the Western Wardens, and a lot of that has to do with the effect that the wardens are having on speaking for the southwest counties. It's 15 counties in total now, and from Simcoe right through to Essex, and flexing their political will to get broadband or high-speed internet across is still their largest project that is being put into place. So we'll certainly look forward to that. And look forward to one thing I will be attending on Friday is the Saugeen Valley Conservation Authority's annual AGM. Is at 1 o'clock in Formosa. So look forward to getting back onto that board, as it's been a while since I was there, but we'll be back. Okay. If there's nothing else, thank you very much. We do have a couple of delegations this morning, and we have two individuals here from the Normanby Ayton Homecoming Committee. And I've been told, Mark is telling me that the second one, Jeanette Mazur, has postponed for upcoming. So we'll look forward to hearing back from Jeanette. But in the meantime, as I said, the first one on the schedule, Mr. Irwin and Mr. Culleton, I believe have taken on the position as co-chairs of the Normanby Ayton Homecoming. So the floor is yours. The microphone, Tom knows how to operate that, Peter. You've never been in front of a microphone in this capacity for quite a while. So
and I've seen his technical abilities. I'm surprised he actually got that done right. So
I'll leave that to your judgment. Thank you very much. Peter.
Anyway, yes, thank you once again for seeing us this morning. As you remember, we were here a short time ago and proposed to you our want to have the Ayton Normanby Homecoming July 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of 2016. We have went ahead. I believe everybody has the outline passed around. It's there. So at this time, what we've done is we have come back to request from you a council delegate to possibly sit on our homecoming committee to approve the flow chart that we have. Oh. I don't think it's anything I can do. To approve the flow chart, to request seed money to get things up and running. We have posters out that we want to submit through the mail coming up for a public open meeting in February to gain more volunteers and to gather information from you regarding security, what we may need as far as alcohol policy and stuff goes, just the general help and knowledge that we could get from you as you've been involved in them before. I believe you have the poster that we would like to first get sent around shortly as possible. I don't know if that was passed out or not, but that is the flyer that we've come up with that we will submit in the mail coming up for this public meeting that we want to have on February 24th of, oh, Tom's got the date wrong. Wrong Tom, other Tom. I hope he didn't print too many of them. As you can see, it says Tuesday, February 24th, 2015, which is correct. I was just giving you a hard time. We have chosen two possible...
So we'll see if you can use the one beside Carrie. Yeah, more comfortable.
Yeah. Okay, we have chosen a couple of possible slogans that are on there. We haven't, one's all roads lead to Ayton or come home to the heart of Ayton. The heart of Ayton is on our town signs in Normanby because Ayton is the heart of Normanby Township. But over the years, I'm sure you've heard a lot of people say that all roads lead to Dayton, because it doesn't matter where you turn, north, south, east, west, you seem to end up in Dayton. Apparently I did 20-some years ago.
Most of the time, that's in Grey County, that's said about Walters Falls.
Yeah.
Only the opposite. Once you get there, you can't get out.
We have had some funding recommendations, a 13-month calendar, raffle tickets, and we're looking at having a New Year's Eve dance in 2015 and a 50-50 draw. So at this point, really, I guess it's just we're at the point where, you know, we need the seed money basically, and any recommendations you have for us to carry on and make this event a success.
So, which do you want to deal with first? The
Well-
money or the individual?
I guess the individual, it's our recommendation that you have to have it's recommended, or it's part of the bylaw.
It's worked
that you
well in
have
the
to have.
past.
What's that?
It's worked well in the past
Okay,
couple of
excellent.
years.
Okay.
Durham had their homecoming. We had a representative there, and Elmwood had an individual that sat on that as well too. He brings a wealth of experience, and I would, suggest that he volunteer himself to do that again. Mr. Thompson.
Yeah, okay.
Well, that was short and sweet to the point. That's good. Excellent.
Thank you, Rob. I think, I know in speaking to the individuals in Elmwood, Rob brought some good comments and decision making for them, and so if he will do that again and his expertise shared. Rob?
Apparently I have a vested interest in Normanby Township with my wife, so that's where she's from, so yeah, I'll be glad to help out.
Excellent. Yeah, it's just, it will be great because, as I say, we have a lot of people that have not went through anything like this before on our committee. We have a couple of experienced people, but that's, the last one was 20-some years ago, 25, 26 years ago, so any help we can get is greatly appreciated. I guess next is to have council approve the names of our homecoming committee that's reflected on the flow chart. And this we ask if it's possible we may add to as time goes on. Once we have the open meeting, we're hoping to find more people to volunteer to help out.
Okay. And yeah, with whoever wants to be on that committee, we certainly can add them as far as, being a committee of council, and I'm sure the reason being is for the insurance purposes, but to be able to know who we have, if we can just be notified, either Tom or Pete,
Yep.
of who's being added on, and we can amend the bylaw, the appointment bylaw as we go forward, or,
Okay. Great.
or a resolution, and add them in there. So the first one, and here I'm already ahead of you on this one. I have a motion moved by John A. Bell and seconded by Doug Hutchison. Be it resolved that the Council of the Municipality of West Grey hereby appoints the following members to the Ayton Normanby Homecoming Committee 2016. Aaron Culleton, Delana Culleton, Dave Culleton, Tom Culleton. Is this a homecoming or is it a family reunion? Sherry Dahm, Peggy Hutchison, Tom Hutchison, Julie Irwin, Peter Irwin, Brittany Lawrence, Carol Leibold, Joyce Noon, Mary Lou Peffer, Darrell Scott, Robert Scriven, Jeff Tanner, Kim Tone, Brandon Weber, and Councillor Rob Thompson as a council representative.
Excellent.
Any questions or comments from any of the council members on that? And as I said, if other individuals come forward, just let us know, and by resolution we can add them as well too. Any comments on the motion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That is carried. Now, I do know that it's either been Tom and or Peter has been in conversation a little bit with Carrie, our treasurer, who has recommended a motion here as far as some of the funding and the seed money would go. So I have a motion moved by Carol Lawrence and seconded by Bev Cutting Be it resolved that the Council of the Municipality of West Grey hereby approves a loan made for the 2016 Normanby Homecoming towards activities scheduled for the July 1st to 3rd, 2016, not to exceed $10,000, subject to entering into a formal agreement between the Municipality of West Grey and the 2016 Normanby Homecoming Committee. And I think that that's pretty much in conjunction with, similar to what we've done for other homecoming. Okay? Any other questions or comments? Carol?
I just have a question. Did we give Durham 10 or 20? Was it 10? I know it was 10 to Allenwood, but it was also 10
Yeah.
from Brockville.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if, you know, Ayton can find some from South Bruce or Minto or Wellington North,
Yeah.
go ahead. But, yeah, it's been ours to go with 10. Okay? Any other questions on the motion? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Anything else? Peter, Tom?
Joyce had here assist with grant applications. The question that I had with that was anything like, can we go through council or go through the municipality to find out different funding alternatives for, like, Carrie, somebody's pointing at you, is that? That was our question basically, was just what we actually need to do to, you know, to find out what grants there is available, or if there is any, like Canada Day, we're trying to get that part. We hear there's different things, whether you get funding for fireworks and things like that, being it's Canada Day, like any of that stuff that we can get help with, basically, is the question.
Well, I think you're as close to the right individual on that little money pots that are there.
All right. So any information you can give us, Carrie, that would help, like as far as what grants are available.
You got a comment on that?
Yeah, just one, you have the right dates, July 1st, and I think the fireworks grant that was available had to occur on Canada Day, so
Yep.
instead of having it at the end, it may be at the beginning of the weekend.
Yeah, that was the big thing with having it on Canada Day at the start, was for that, because we'd heard there was possibly some funding. Now, originally, we were told that there was no way we'd ever get a fireworks company to come put them on that day because they're all booked up years ahead of time, but since then, we've had an individual make contact with Tom that says that's not a problem, and it's the same company that does the fireworks at the racetrack at Hanover for Dream of Glory night. So hopefully that can be made to go.
Yep, very good. Councillor Cutting, Bev?
In years
Don? Somebody move that mic for it.
In years past, we've had usually requests to the Parks Committee for extra flowers or bridge, you know, extra things like that. That would have to be done fairly soon when you have your meeting, if you would let the Parks Committee know, because they have to be ordered, and the flowers are ordered usually in the next month or two. And also if you have colors that you want or anything specific like that.
Yeah, our colors.
Oh, it's a whole year. I'm sorry. I'm thinking, yeah. So just put that down as one of your things to do for next year.
Near the
So
end
that's
of
great. I was
wondered
looking
how-
at the meeting on February 28th of 2015, but that's
Okay.
good. Just so you have an information, you can get that.
We
back
actually
to
do
us.
have our colors selected. I don't think it is on here. It actually is on here.
Okay.
The colors that we have
Black,
selected
white, and
already.
yellow.
So just give
The black,
the
white,
Parks
and yellow?
Committee a
Yes. Yeah.
heads up when you get an idea.
Yeah. The school colors have always been black and yellow. The old minor hockey colors were black, yellow, and white. Just seemed to be the right.
Oh, that's an easy choice.
Black roses and sunflowers should be very good.
Probably there'd be a few black roses around the following morning, I would imagine, but
Any other questions for Mr. Irwin or Mr. Culleton while they're here? Any other questions or thoughts from council? I would like to say is congratulations for yourself, Peter, and Tom, for stepping up and taking this on. By the end of July 2016, you'll probably question your sanity and why you're doing it, but it will be an exciting time, as it's been in the last number of homecomings that have been done in other parts, and we look forward to working with you and having a very successful Norman B. Ayton homecoming. My heart goes out to you.
We've enlisted Mark Ebert's actually been a big help, because he had a lot to do with handovers, and I mean, his golf course is within our boundaries, and Mark's been to 3 meetings, I guess, already, and he's helped us out a lot, so we're leaning on him a little bit to get things going, but we appreciate the support very much, and if anybody has any ideas, please feel free to contact Tom or myself. Any help we can get will be greatly appreciated.
Well, by the time you get Mark Ebert there after doing the Hanover one, and you get Rob Thompson there after doing the Durham and Elmwood one, you'll just feel like you're on a set of skis, and the downhill will be going that fast for you. Okay.
Okay, great.
Well, thank you very much, and good luck, guys. We look forward to working with you. Okay. Yep. And yes, Jeanette has asked to cancel for today and reschedule, so we'll look forward to her presentation coming forward. Business arising from previous meeting. Don't believe we have any there. So staff reports. I believe that brings us down to Carrie. And if I can just one thing before we get to your report, Carrie, and just kind of on the consent agenda, we've seen in a number of media outlets of the number of building permits and activities that have gone in, and that the year-end report there is from our CBO, is for information in the package, but was another very good year, I guess, for West Grey. With in 2014 we had we're back up to 43 dwellings had been permits had gone out, and we had a very good year for our building department. So just wanted to say that West Grey is still the destination for a number of people who are building new houses out there. So I believe that there is still a lot of houses still being developed, and look forward to residents continuing to want to be residents, new residents of West Grey. So look forward to that, just for your information. All right. Well, the page should be about page 61, I believe, is the Finance Treasurer's report. And the first one is the vouchers. I have voucher number 24 of 2014 as Carrie's finishing up. Probably be a few more stragglers come in before the end of the month, so we'll have a couple more there. But are there any questions on the accounts? We've had them in the package. Doug, Councillor Hutchison. Councillor Hutchison, can you use your microphone, please?
Sure. It's under the fire Durham. I don't know if you can answer this question, Carrie. It's just a number. I wasn't sure what it was all about. It's M&L Supply LED scene light. So I guess this is through the fire department. Yeah, it's $1,819.48. So it wasn't. What is an LED scene light? Anyone? Maybe someone else knows what that is. It sounds like an emergency light or something, is it?
Spotlight.
Okay.
She'll give you
I'm on page Let me look here. 65. It's under fire Durham. It's
Yeah, the invoice
$1,800.
doesn't give much more of a description. I'd have to check with Phil on what the actual
Okay,
equipment is used for or that type of thing.
Okay.
But I can check with them and have them get back to you.
Okay. We'll check that one out. Get that just for information back to you, Doug. Okay. Carrie will check that out and get the information back. Any other questions on the accounts?
I want to,
Go ahead.
Mike's still on. Under, this is page 69, under the council, this is GL account, I guess, having to do with, just a general question about benefits. Do our employees have benefits like dental, health?
We don't have dental, but we do have group health benefits,
Okay.
but not a dental package.
I'm just wondering why we're reimbursing in some, like, there's reimbursements there, Carrie? Can you explain how that's working if we're,
Oh, we also have an internal healthcare spending account for items. That's how people can use them for dental. It's $1,000 for each employee, but it can be used for deductible amounts that aren't covered, or if it's over your eyeglasses, if our coverage is $100 and the glasses are $200, then you could submit for the extra $100.
so that's on top of the health benefits?
Yeah.
that you had? Okay, I wondered what that was. Thank you.
Okay, anything else? Councillor Lawrence. Carol?
Thanks. I had a question, Carrie. Page 11, it's an Ontario number, and it's for leaf pickup November the 24th at Normanby Arena and area, $1,130. What, I hope the area is larger than the arena. It is charged to the picnic shelter, Ball Diamonds. And I, well, this is Ayton, does he, yeah, sorry. No, Ayton, or, well, Normanby.
There, if you want, the recreational manager standing inside the door. Yeah.
We asked that question last year.
The interior and exterior of the ball diamond is what that was for in Normanby.
It was done, it was a little more than last year, but it was because it was so late and it was covered with snow.
And one thing that, just for information, the way that the ball diamond, where it sits, those leaves can cause problems with drainage, because we've got a couple of culverts that stormwater comes out of. Often, as Councillor Marshall has said, there's a pile of trees around there and a pile of leaves. I believe at one point in time the culverts did get plugged and caused a lot more damage to the road and a couple of residents. And the leaf pickup is a small price to pay. Carol?
One more question on page 12, and it's a legal bill to Thompson Rogers Lawyers for the Hanover Secondary Plan from October to December of $4,600. And what would that be for? I thought that was all, as far as the agreement, I thought that was all over and done.
That's part of the work for the OMB hearing with Magwood,
Oh,
which is part of that agreement.
so is that shared with Hanover then? Or
is that
is this
our
our
portion?
share?
No, we pay the full amount and we get reimbursed from Hanover. We bill them for the for 50%. As part of that agreement, we were looking after the payment
We do
of
the
bills.
accounting.
And we'll be reimbursed half.
Yes.
Apparently. John asked that question. Paying for the Santa Claus or paying for
Okay.
that Christmas party.
Anything else?
Then they donate the money back.
Mr.
No,
Mayor,
there-
one-
Go ahead, Doug.
This is page 77, under the corporate costs for the Christmas market. Just wondering, what's the $500 cost there that goes to, it says corporate cost, Christmas market expense, and I believe maybe it's to Bev Burgess?
That's for the services of the individual that ran the market for us. So that was what we had agreed to and budgeted for to pay the individual to look after organizing the vendors and the various market work. So that
So
was.
that came out of Wes Gray's budget rather than out of the Christmas market?
It's out of the revenues from the Christmas market. The revenues will show in a separate revenue account for those.
Okay.
And I'll have a summary for it. I think we've got one more printing bill that's come in. So then we'll have a summary total of the net revenue from the market.
And, yeah, from all accounts, we seem to be in a positive there from it.
Yeah, we're probably close to $4,000 net revenue, but like I said, there was another invoice that had come in for printing, so I just have to add that in there.
Okay. Deputy Mayor Bell. John?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So along with that, the same thing happens with the Santa Claus at the market. There was on the next page.
Oh, the Santa Claus, yeah, the gentleman who was Santa at the market, yes. Yeah, that's part of the.
That is the
yeah.
right term, the gentleman who was
Yeah.
Santa Claus, yes.
Yeah.
Wasn't Santa?
No,
Yes, sorry.
Santa was busy, and Mr. Thompson was obviously busy at the same time, yeah. It's okay.
Can only be in so many places
Yeah.
at once.
Thank you.
Just as helper.
Okay. Any other questions on the accounts? Seeing none. And I do have a motion moved by Carol Lawrence and seconded by Bev Cutting. Be it resolved that the Director of Finance Treasurer be authorized to pay the accounts presented as voucher number 24, 2014 of the Municipality of West Grey in the amount of $552,539.54. Any questions on the motion? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Okay. The next one is on Carrie's report, is a letter from the town of the Blue Mountains on their thoughts on Grey County sharing of the provincial upload of social services costs. Any comments or questions on that? Don, Councillor Marshall.
I guess just an explanation maybe from the county councilors about why they should keep 50% of that money.
Just a second, I'll put another hat on and be warden here for a second. The going forward, it'll be 100% shared. It's about 2.3 million that is on an annual basis through to 2018, I think is what the projection is, will be returned. It's not a complicated formula as to how we got or why we're at the position we're at, but there was some money borrowed from reserves to offset that, because when the upload happened, the full amount of OMPF grant was taken back, but the full upload was not recognized at that time. So to spread that out, to even it out, the Grey County took a leap of faith that the province would continue with that and spread it out and borrowed from their reserves. And what it amounts to is about, as I said, about 2.3 million per year. So until that borrowing and we could get to a level point, that was taken back. And since 2012, partway through 2012, the loan payment was done, and then the money was put into reserve. As you know, the county has a fair bit of infrastructure, even considerably more than West Grey, and the asset management plan is stating that, you know, the county is going to need a fair bit of capital input to maintain that infrastructure, so the demands are going to be there. So conscientiously, Corporate Services, or Council itself, had said that this would be the best way to offset the loss that the lower tiers were receiving. And by doing that, we would give back the 50% of what has gone into reserve over the past 2.5 years and keep 50% for the county's purposes. That is, as I said, more than needed. The one thing that happens, as you're very well aware, Councillor Marshall, the county sets the tax rate, but it's the lower tiers that collect it. So the funding will flow through, and if Grey County was to push that back, the full 100% of the reserve, as well as the 100% of the that is going back of the going forward amount, the county is going to need at least $1 million a year projected on their asset management. So it was a conscious decision by, as I said, council to keep a little bit of that funding for the county, and it would be spread across the county and county spending, and that the return of the reserve would offset some of the loss by the lower tiers this year, and going forward there'll be that 2.3 million would be about a 4.5% decrease in the county levy. Right now the county's budget is looking with this and will be a position where the lower tiers can backfill that space. The county should and might have, as right now they'll have a 1.6% decrease in the county levy, and that is going to allow, instead of a check, a position where the levy can be backfilled by the lower tiers. So that was the biggest reason for looking at that. If we're in this as a partnership, then we can share in the reserve, and as well as going forward, share in the benefits of that. It was always the idea from the committee that was struck by the Ontario government at the time to lower that would, those savings would trickle back down. As of Friday, and probably this morning as well too, Grey County is the only municipality, only upper tier municipality that we know of in Ontario that is flowing the money back to, any monies, back to the lower tiers. So that is a long and exhaustive reason as to why the decision would be to give half. Go ahead.
Okay, could you tell me what the infrastructure deficit is at the county level?
I'll have to get that one for you, Don, because if I say one number, it'll be twice as much or half as much. Right off the top of my head, I can't tell you, but it's in the hundreds of millions, that I can say.
That's what ours is.
Yep.
So I'm guessing the county's is in the billions.
Oh, it's not in the billions.
Not quite?
No, it's in the hundreds of millions, and I don't know whether it's 500 million or it's 800 million or it's 200 million, but yeah. I do know that it would be a 1 point from the assessment that the consultant did on doing the asset management plan. It would be a 1.8% increase annually for the next 20 years. And the a 1% increase at the county level is about $540 $45,000
Yep, just short of 5.5.
at this point in time. So you're about $1 million a year for the next 20 years to, make any dent in that. As well as the 15, that's on top of the $15 million a year that we do on capital infrastructure as it is now. John?
Yeah, just going along with that, very well said. I think this says kudos for the administration at Grey County, really. The treasurer, he has done a good job in the past and continues to do a good job. This was put in place by 3 CAOs ago, Mr. Gamble, when they first started this, or just 1 CAO. Gary Wood, sorry, 2 CAOs ago. So carrying on with that, this is a good way to not only give back to lower tier, Grey County's always trying to look for more, shall we say, savings, and right now they are doing their budget. It has been, as the mayor said, negative 1.6 is where we're kind of starting, we'll put it that way, and when it's all said and done, they are looking for further decreases in that. So I think good financial planning at Grey County. The treasurer has done a very good job, Mr. Wepler.
Okay, any other comments? Do we want to receive this for information?
I would make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, just
Or
for direction?
Direction, that's fine, direction, yep.
Everybody's fine with that? Okay, then we'll move on to the next one, Carrie. Is the request from the Elmwood Community Center Board reinsurance coverage. Are they sure they want to be insured by West Grey?
Yeah, I'm not able to give them a specific figure because we haven't firmed up our renewal at this point as far as our information goes, but they're looking at moving based on their meeting last week, I think it was.
Okay. Got a motion? Anybody want to move that? Okay, I have a motion moved by Rob Thompson and seconded by Doug Hutchison. Be it resolved that the Council and Municipality of West Grey hereby approves the addition of the Elmwood Community Center under the municipal liability and property insurance with the board to be invoiced for costs based on the same allocation as the Newstead Community Hall. And probably our other community halls as well too, but just using Newstead as an example. Yeah. Okay. Newstead wouldn't be, it would be close to being a comparable, but yeah. It doesn't have 2 floors, but they both have great kitchens, so leave it at that.
Newstead has a state-of-the-art kitchen.
Okay, Carol, Newstead's got a better kitchen. Okay, any comments on the motion? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Do we have Mr. Gould around? We're starting to get down on Carrie's reports here, getting through them fairly well. The next 2, Carrie, that you have there are more for our information purposes. The council remuneration as of the end of December is there for your information, and we're at that quarterly report on the mileage, still using the formula from the county on our mileage rates, and you're saying we're going to be dropping from 48.5 down to 46.5 cents according to the formula. So very good. Carol? Any questions for Carrie? Yeah. Before Carrie leaves, there's a couple of bylaws that certainly are under her jurisdiction or pertain to the finance. Is there any questions on those while she's here? Before she gets back to her calculator and doing more budgeting work in her office? Don?
Is there any charge to have that $2.5 million sitting there?
Only if we use it. If we draw it down, then we get interest charged on it. But currently, we haven't had to use it. But it's just that safety net that's there. But it's only if we actually draw down on it. If our bank account gets too low and has to be replenished with that.
I thought there might have been a service charge or some, no? Thank you.
Any other questions for Carrie? Before they happen, Carrie, thank you very much for coming in. Way you go. Okay, we have our Director of Infrastructure and Public Works, Ken. Ken's report there. And the first one is on the Saugeen River conditions. Ken, and working with the bit of frazzle ice that we did see. So any further comments on that?
No, just everything looks very positive. The water levels went down before the frazzle ice impacted the lower part of Durham, and the river's starting to close in, and it looks real good. So we just hope we don't get any mild weather or the heavy rain to cause some problems. But no, it looks very good.
Yeah, we certainly did. There was quite a bit of flow of frazzle ice coming down just at Christmas time. I was looking at the river on, I think the 26th, 25th. I was around town, and amazingly enough, it was flowing still at the upper dam, but by the time it got down below the lower dam, it had been caught up, and there wasn't any accumulation. So we escaped it there. The boards did their work again at the upper dam. So, very good. From there, you want to go to municipal hazardous waste.
Yeah, this is an amendment to the agreement that was signed by the council back in October 2011. This agreement deals with some of the subsidy we get for collecting hazardous waste either through the agreement we have with Owen Sound or the hazardous waste day that we collected here last July, and they've just updated some sections of the agreement, and it doesn't pertain to anything. We're not going to get any less financial support or more, so it's more of a cleanup issue than anything.
It's a wording, it's not a financial benefit to us.
That's right.
Okay, any questions on that? Very good. Anything else, Ken?
No, I don't think so. Everything seems to be working very well. I just talked to Tim there, and the equipment's working well, and they've been out fairly constant with the not so much the snow, it's the blowing snow this last few days that has caused the problems. But we're looking at starting to clean the streets, the main streets of some of the urban areas, and I believe they're going to start in Durham tonight and clean that off, so that'll help out down there. So, and we'll have to take a look at Newstead and Ayton and Elmwood too. So,
okay. Question, Deputy Mayor.
Just real quick, Ken, I know we had troubles probably at the end of last year with budget items, and as far as road maintenance goes and everything else, realized we were getting a little tight. We've resolved those, and we're moving into a new year and everything.
probably, with what happened at the end of last December, probably saved us some money. And going forward, could you just comment on the price? Would you remember what the price of diesel fuel is a year ago and what it is now?
Yeah, I know what it is now. I believe today was 64 cents, and the rack price over a year ago was over the $1. So that's certainly a tremendous savings for us. And December was a quiet month as far as snow plowing. We're just doing the time sheets and the equipment sheets here today to see, may have more of a accurate figure here for council later in this month, but once we get things all put in. But December definitely helped, yes. Between the fuel and the lack of snow, it was great.
So are you saying, Ken, that fuel's down almost 40% so that we can expect a 40% reduction for the 2015 budget from Public Works? No?
If you can somehow keep the price down, we can arrange that, but everybody keeps saying it's not going to stay there, so.
Well, they didn't say that they said it was going to get to $60 and that's as low as it was going to go, and now we're down below 40. What did I say, 47.11? Thank you, Bev. I say 48 now. One of the interesting things I was researching on the weekend, but the Middle East countries can produce oil, put oil to the tanker for about, on average, $3.50 a barrel. So that gives you an indication that Alberta oil sands, it takes somewhere between $70 and $75 a barrel to get it to the pipeline. They're not, and still a large amount of the oil in Canada comes from the Arabian countries, so I think that we'll still see oil down at that price for quite a while yet. But it will help us, but we'll see what we're doing with budget. One big thing is fuel is a large proponent of your budget, but it's not the biggest part of your budget. Okay? All right, any other questions for Ken? Carol? Sorry, go ahead.
It's actually with your recreation portfolio that I just want to bring something forward. I had a request on the weekend. Someone in a wheelchair went to the arena because we've made it accessible with the elevator and the warming room. They could not get in the warming room, and a request that we look at putting a handicap push button on it. It was impossible to open either way, so yeah. Mhm.
Okay, any other questions for Ken? Seeing none, thank you very much, Ken. It's always better when there are no questions and the report is short. That's the good news. Okay, we're going to go down then. That's it for staff reports. Mark, we have 3 bylaws to deal with, so we'll go into bylaws. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, we'll start with bylaw number 1 for 2015. It's being a bylaw to authorize for borrowing for the corporation. It's moved by Carol Lawrence, seconded by Bev Cutting. Be it resolved that bylaw number 1, 2015, being a bylaw to authorize the borrowing of money to meet current expenditures of the Council of the Municipality of West Grey be now read a first, second, and third time, passed and numbered, and that the said bylaw be signed by the mayor and the CEO, deputy clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and be engrossed in the bylaw book. Is there any questions or comments on this bylaw? Just the one comment I'd like to make from the chair is that we've had this bylaw as a regular one. From talking to Kerry the other day, 2014 we did, and I believe going back, it's been some time since we've ever had to access this funding, but it's an operating loan that's there in case it is needed. So, but it, as I said, in 2014 was never activated. It's good planning. Okay. No questions on the motion, then I'll call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. The next one is bylaw number 2. Is the bylaw to set out the interim tax levies, which is a 50% of the 2014, the year ending 2014, until we get the budget set. I have the motion moved by Doug Hutchison and seconded by Rob Thompson. Be it resolved that bylaw number 2, 2015, being a bylaw to provide for interim tax levies for the year 2015 for the Municipality of West Grey, be now read a first, second, and third time, passed and numbered, and that the said bylaw be signed by the mayor and the CEO, deputy clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and be engrossed in the bylaw book. Any questions or comments on this motion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. And the third bylaw was the one that Ken just spoke to, was basically housekeeping on our municipal hazardous and special waste agreement. I have a motion moved by Don B. Marshall and seconded by Carol Lawrence. Be it resolved that bylaw number 3, 2015, being a bylaw to amend bylaw number 64, 2011, being a bylaw to enter into a new municipal hazardous or special waste services agreement, be now read a first, second, and third time, passed and numbered, and that the said bylaw be signed by the mayor and the CEO, deputy clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and be engrossed in the bylaw book. Any questions or comments on this motion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Okay. Any new business? Addendums, notice of motion, or direct motion? Yes, Larry?
Just as a follow-up for council's information, I have made application to the delegations that I was instructed to for the upcoming Ontario Good Roads Roma Convention. We will not know probably until much closer to the date of the convention whether or not those delegations have been received. However, I did mention that I had a forthcoming conversation with some of the local CIOs in regards to some joint, some potential joint delegations, and one obviously, or two items would be the recent application that we submitted in regards to the OCIF/SCF funding. That would be natural gas to the area as well as fiber optics to the area. We'd like to do a joint presentation on that. We'd also like to talk to AMAFRA in regard to the tile drainage rates that are currently out there, and also the whole application formula and the formula base for the OCIF funding is something we'd like to speak to the ministry, both municipal affairs and to AMAFRA in regards to that. So those are three items that I suggested to council that I would bring back, and with your indulgence, I'll advise our neighbors that we are interested in meeting with them at Good Roads should they get these delegations.
Okay, thank you, Larry. Any other questions on new business? Closed matter, I don't believe we have anything else in closed session. Question period. Chance for anybody to ask a question if there's anything that is on the agenda. The press has left, so we must have got his questions answered. Okay, thank you. Municipal Act notices, Mark, I don't believe there are any. Then that brings us down to the last, number 20. You're not as efficient as Councillor Mollison ever was there. I have a motion moved by Bev Cutting that we do stand adjourned. I'll accept that. We stand adjourned until the 19th. Okay, thank you, Mark.